Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heroes and Thieves. We are back again with another episode of Dungeons and Dragons campaign world building, and I couldn't be more excited for this episode.
Yes.
This is episode number 5 of season 2, where we're building one entire campaign world. And I think that we're doing well so far. We have a lot of stuff built already, or world built already, and we have a lot to go.
Oh yeah,
lot to go.
Oh
so, it'll be worth it if we all stick to the end. Do you have anything to say about last week?
No, do I? I don't think so. I think this is the first time where I've started making a story and I have a ton of loose ends and I'm actually happy about it.
Okay.
Because we're not even, we're not even close to the end yet. And we've dropped so many like ideas and possibilities that definitely we need to go back on. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And I'm excited to see where all those go.
Yeah. It's a very good thing.
What we can think of.
And don't forget.
Because I don't even know. I don't know where it's going.
Don't forget. I also thought about this today. Don't forget about our, what are they called? Parabolas? What word is it?
Parabola? I don't have any
doppelgangers. I have not forgotten.
Okay. I also did forget, but I'm going to try to, remember them if it fits, if it fits in.
Yeah, there's no need to rush it. There's no need to rush it.
We don't want to force anything in here. So with that being said, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, actually, we left off last week talking about a pale city with the 4 horsemen idea that we brought into the whole situation.
Yeah, which is
and
lovely.
We talked about the pale horse so far. And that's this new city where this necromancer lives, and he's causing all sorts of weird stuff to go on. Necromancy and plague and really death all around. And it's also where the people who are kind of shamed in the dice game are living at. So there's a lot of debauchery and people there who aren't great.
Yeah. Anyway,
now let us begin. The first word is dagger.
Let's see. Dagger. That is a knife, a small weapon, a small sharp weapon that is typically used by the roguish types in the fantasy genre. It is also the name that Princess Garnet gives herself in Final Fantasy IX.
That's correct. When she goes into hiding,
unless you change
on
it.
The run.
Yeah.
Right. Why would you change that? That's a great name.
I do every time.
Why?
I just don't like it.
What do you make it, Garnet? You say nope. You are stuck with it.
You're stuck with it, lady. I'm the player. You don't tell me what to do.
You're not changing your name today.
Yep. No.
Okay. Well, that's
cool. Changed it to something else. Yeah. Let's see. So dagger. There's also the phrase cloak and dagger that people use.
Yes, that's right.
I'm not totally sure like what it means. I can guess, if somebody's.
I think it's just like, stealthy and killer.
Well, yeah, like if somebody's being cloak and dagger about it. I don't even know if that's how it's used, but
I don't think it is.
But it's a common. They go together.
Yeah, cloak and dagger go together because when you have a dagger, you should have a cloak. You should.
You should, yeah.
To hide the dagger and yourself.
Yeah.
So
in a fantasy world, I don't know about today. If you walk into Walmart with a cloak and dagger,
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that.
You're not going to be very hidden. Place.
No, a lot of people would notice you.
You're out of your element there, bud.
Yeah. Unless you walked into fantasy Walmart with a cloak and dagger.
Ooh, fantasy Walmart.
Then it's just fine because, a lot of cloak and daggers walk into like pubs and bars, stuff like that. So totally fine.
Okay. Fantasy Walmart. I'm going to hold on to that.
Fantasy Walmart. So for Dagger, I had envisioned like I'm just gonna lay out initial thoughts I
Okay.
had
Wonderful.
for Dagger. I had envisioned a singular dagger, like a mythical, legendary dagger.
Okay.
That was it.
was it?
all. That's as far as I thought about it. Yep.
Okay.
Just like some sort of special dagger, and I'll let you do what you want with that.
Okay, that's really interesting because typically it's a special sword, right? Excalibur or something like that is the main character. Arthur has this sword, and that's typically what it is because it's seen as just I don't know, just the
It's
most
like
common.
heroic. A sword is very heroic,
Yeah, it's a sword, just solid.
and a dagger is not heroic at all.
No, it's not. But
So I like it.
what if we so I don't want to make this dagger heroic either. This legendary
so it's
dagger.
a bad dagger.
It's a bad dagger. I want to say
a bad dagger.
I want to give it kind of like a Kingslayer vibe. Don't call it Kingslayer because I mean I think there's 1,000 daggers named Kingslayer
From the World of Warcraft franchise? Did they have a Kingslayer?
They did, but it was a sword from Karazhan, and it had.
I'm thinking about.
curved.
Okay, I'm thinking about the Frostmourne. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, that's
like put the dagger in that light of like
gotcha.
Powerful evil,
like stealing
powerful evil,
stealing souls type of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
There was a weapon named Kingslayer, but
yes,
it was a sword for tanks.
Yes, correct.
In Burning Crusade,
one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
Yeah. Great expansion, great sword. Let's see. Okay, so we can give it, we can give it special magical properties if you like. I think it has to, but I think the history behind it is more important to me right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Giving this dagger a history of murdering important people is what I want to do.
So, like, people have murdered with it, or it like tells people to murder people?
Oh, so that leads me back to the World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Where, if you remember in Legion, I think it was the Legion expansion. Yeah, when you did all the class quest, the class fantasy.
Yeah.
The Shadow Priest.
Yep.
The Shadow Priest dagger.
It was a dagger.
Yeah. It was a dagger, coincidentally. Yeah. But it had, like, I don't even know who was in it, but it had a entity in it that spoke to you all the time. And it was a major part of your class fantasy. And I love that. I think it was like
that was super cool.
In WoW, I think it was like a messenger of the old gods or something like that, or of the void.
Yeah, like of the insanity, because they were all about going insane.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And so, you were able to wield the dagger because you could resist insanity, except I couldn't because that talent tree was dope.
So good.
Where you just commit suicide.
Yeah, there's some parts of WoW that I really don't like. And there's some parts that are so good and so well crafted that it's golden. Like the skill was called Surrender to Madness.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you used it, you were this powerful being until you died.
Yep.
And it was so cool. It was such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Of just giving in to your madness, and then you ultimately just die.
You knew you were going to die, but for those, what was it, like 30, 40 seconds, you were top DPS.
Yeah. And from a lore perspective, I love it.
Yeah, it's so fit in
cool.
well.
Yeah, it's so cool that it completely takes over, and that's cool. I like that.
And you just die. So I mean, since we're on that, and since we both really like that, why don't we just go ahead and just borrow? You know,
take a little bit. Yeah,
come on over.
Inspiration to the madness.
Come on over to our world.
Yeah.
So what do we want to take from that? Take that, this dagger, I want to take that it speaks to you because I think that's awesome. And in a D&D aspect, just every now and then the DM is just like, your dagger whispers.
No, he passes a message on a piece of paper to that player, so no one else can know what it says.
Oh, that'd be even better.
And the player opens it up and reads it and is like, "Oh crap!" And like he rolls a die. Everybody's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, that's even better.
And he tells the DM, "I got a 7," and he goes, "All right, this player's gone insane," and he starts attacking everyone. And then he just loses control.
Everyone roll for initiative.
So cool. Yeah, everybody roll. He just gained a lot of power.
Yeah, he gains a lot of power and he gets to surprise attack whoever he's closest to. Like if you're walking,
because that's what it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, because like in D&D you do like the walking order, like when you're in a dungeon. And imagine like the rogue is in the very back or something, and right in front of him is the healer, and all of a sudden the rogue's like, oh, rolls a dice, loses, and then he's just like, you backstab the cleric.
Yeah, exactly.
You for 40 damage.
You just and everybody's like, what happened?
Oh, suddenly just everything goes to absolute crap.
Such a great moment.
Because of that surrendering to madness. Yeah, let's do it. Let's say that this dagger has that property where that history where there's some sort of soul, a mischievous soul, maybe an essence of a different god is inside this dagger, a more mischievous, like Loki type of god, or just straight up evil. I don't know, but lives
just like chaotic.
Yeah, lives inside this dagger, and because of the dagger, it's been known to change the course of more than a few nations' histories.
Yeah, just doing devious stuff.
But
the extra power you get
by murdering like high-ranking people and doing things to whatever that god's ends are, or if that god even has ends, or if it's just totally chaotic. Who knows? But
yeah, that's super cool. I like that a lot.
But the reason people still wield the dagger is because of its immense power. Other than just
it's coveted for the power. And there could be like, stories of people saying, I'm strong enough to resist that. I am pure of heart.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the power, which kind of goes against itself, but it's fine. Because
what do you mean?
Like somebody so pure, like a paladin would never grab the dagger, right?
Right.
Because they know it's bad, it's evil, so they would not grab it. So really, anyone who takes the dagger really can't control it. The only person who can control it is a pure person, and they just wouldn't take it.
Right.
Because it's bad.
And
so
you're not going to find many pure-hearted rogues.
Exactly. So like you're not, somebody who's so pure-hearted that could resist the dagger, but also wants the dagger for its power increasing attributes. That person doesn't exist. So it's always somebody who is flawed and will succumb to the power.
Yeah. I think too that like rogues and assassin types they covet this dagger because of, with it they can change the course of history, they can make riches for themselves, and they know that. And they all think, I've got the willpower, like I can do it. They don't know that it's, being pure of heart. They just think, I have the willpower. All right, I'm stubborn. No dagger can get to me. And then eventually it does. They surrender to the madness, and they become just a servant of whatever of the god. And
just like a mindless killer, really.
Yeah. They just become a chaotic killer until they are put down.
Until adventurers take them down.
Yeah.
So it's like the forming of a quest line here. Like the party encounters this dagger or hears about the dagger, and it needs to be stopped. The wielder went crazy, and you gotta put him down. And then the party goes to do it. And then obviously at the end, there's this, conflict of who's going to take the dagger. Should we take the dagger? Do we leave it? Do we try to destroy it? What do we do? Do we hide it? Do we throw it in the ocean? Like, what do we do with it? That'd be a cool thing to resolve as a party of adventurers.
Yeah, that's a solid quest line. But first, you got to kill the boss who's got the dagger.
Yes, who has the dagger.
Or you could do a quest line where you really want the dagger because you need the power to kill a different, big bad. But the dagger is currently sealed away in the vaults of some city. So now your quest is to go get the dagger. So
that would also be tough. A lot of tough questing going on.
That would be like a solo rogue adventure, I feel like.
Yeah, the rogue takes off on a side quest by himself.
I mean, that's pretty cool. It's like, getting your epic weapon.
And that's where it leads into like, no one else knows he has it. Like he did this secretly. He has it on him and they're in a party together. And that's how he starts, killing his teammates.
Yeah.
Because you can't like every day there's a skill check. And if he fails it, he goes a little more insane.
Yeah.
Like there's an insanity counter that the DM's keeping track of.
Yeah.
So it's like, that would be so cool.
Yeah, that's a fantastic. And the more insane you get, the more like whisperings you hear.
And you have to keep resisting more and more. And then finally, once you hit like 10 insanity points, there's an encounter. You just fight. You're just dead.
Yeah, you fight until
you kill everybody in your party or you die. That's the encounter.
Unless there's another way to like remove the dagger without removing your soul.
Way. Yeah.
Because I think the more
around it.
The more you lose those rolls and become insane, the more attached it is to your soul. It's like a leech, the more attached it is to your soul. And so if your party can somehow like knock you out and then get the dagger away from you, you're going to be like a shell of who you were because the dagger took some of it with you,
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. I like that. I like all of that.
But the more rolls you lose, also, the more powerful you become.
Yeah, you become more
of
one
like
with
combat.
the dagger. Yeah, and you gain these powers of like, okay, you get to roll 2 D6s or whatever for damage instead of 1.
Yeah.
And then you're getting stronger by doing this, which it's risky.
Yeah.
But, it's a fun mechanic. This insanity thing.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun to develop and make a weapon. Some
nice,
whatever we want to call it, something to do with madness.
Okay, so we've established this dagger. Do we want to name this dagger?
That's what I was just thinking of, but
we got to name everything now that we're doing one world that needs to make sense.
Yeah, name for a dagger. The Mad Hatter.
The Mad Hatter.
The Mad Dagger.
Like it.
The dagger on the dance floor.
That's not a great name either. Okay, maybe it's just like I don't know, this is like the dagger, like proper noun. Everybody knows what the dagger is.
Well, I think is that the dagger? No, I think a lot of the naming would come from the history again. So I think it would be crucial to identify who this chaotic god is, or the most famous person this dagger has slain, or like the first person it slew. Something that just came to me is you could call the dagger like Cain or something like that, Maybe it's existed for a long, long time and it was the first dagger that slew.
Yeah, we do have biblical references already.
Yeah.
So
they're pretty heavy, I like big biblical references because I think most people get them. And it's kind of cool,
Yeah, they're used a lot so people can identify them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like saying Cain and Abel, I would say a lot of people are like, yeah, you killed them.
Yeah, most people know it.
Yeah. So Cain's a pretty dark dude in history.
Call the dagger brother's keeper.
That's pretty good.
Something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because that's like ironic, and the god of chaos loves irony.
All right, I like that. That's pretty good. Let's go with that.
All right, we'll stick with that. The brother's keeper.
Yeah.
because it sounds like a protective thing, but if you know anything about like, am I my brother's keeper? You know that what you know the weight behind that question.
Yeah. And it kind of, you can tie it to Cain and Abel because they were brothers. Like, he was his keeper, but he killed him. So
Yeah, he was supposed to be.
yeah. So that's cool. I like that. Awesome. I like that a lot. Let's keep that. Let's keep all that. We'll figure out where to put this dagger, I guess, later.
Yeah, that's something we might develop off the podcast, or if we develop a city that we really like.
Yeah, that the dagger fits in.
Yeah,
like, it has to be like a lockdown,
person.
big fortress of a city. I think, like,
or if we come
Solitude
across
or something.
a character that really seems like they would have it, or something like that. So a really rich merchant or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, greedy person, maybe a city of greed, and then he has it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Let's go. Okay, hold on.
By the way, I meant to say this at the beginning. On the Pale City, we didn't really go much into detail about the Pale City besides, the necromancer, underground, dice losers.
Yep.
I want to call that necromancer. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The Pallid King.
The Pallid King.
How do you feel about that?
Yep. Okay.
I thought of that earlier. Pallid just means pale. So it's like the Pale City and the Pallid King. They like to keep it simple.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward in this town.
I think they're like
not creative.
Yeah, they're pretty straightforward. I think they're more of a minimalist type of people too. And so they just, he's the Pallid King. He also doesn't like to use his name. So
yeah, the Pallid King works for me. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and it just feels cool. I just love saying that word, pallid.
Pallid?
The Pallid King.
You're pretty pallid.
Okay. Well, that's rude.
Okay. Are you ready for word number 2?
I am. Yeah.
Word number 2 is control.
Control. Like a helicopter mom.
Yes, exactly like a helicopter mom. Wanting to control every single move you make and everything you see, everything you hear, everything you do.
Yep. Control.
Must be controlled and filtered. Yep.
That's what I'm thinking of when you just say the word control. It comes with a negative connotation to my mind right now. I don't know.
So is this the start of another city?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, it can be. Which we kind of talked about last time as well.
Did we?
Let me flip my page.
Did we have another city in the works?
Well, I had briefly mentioned it when you brought up the 4 horsemen.
Yep.
We had agreed kind of that it should be like 4 nations or 4 groups that are representing these 4 horsemen.
Yep.
And so the representations of them were sword, famine, wild beasts, and plague. Correct?
Yes, and we have the plague done.
Plague is done. I had mentioned that the sword of truth. The sword might be something of a tyrannical empire. Or in our current day, the nation of the sword is the one that is the most oppressive to its own people in a little, well, maybe not, but it's just the most conquesty. It's very
kind of the most oppressive in general.
Yeah.
I think.
They're kind of the bad guys to everybody.
Yeah, to themselves and everybody else.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Empire in all of the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
They're terrible to everyone.
Yeah. Terrible to everybody. They are at first seen as the main big bad guy. They are the sword.
But they're always just a pawn, aren't they?
Yep.
Every time.
They're being controlled.
Exactly. They're being controlled. Yeah. Okay, so third city now, the city of the sword
Yeah.
is bad. And they're very conquesty.
Yeah.
Um so they're controlling their people with the
Um,
helicopter mom point of view. Are they helicoptering over every single person?
well, I think they're more doing a medieval Big Brother. So
Oh,
yes,
like
kind of.
watching over everything you do.
Yeah, watching over everything. Every town and province has every village, every hamlet, every
Because
farmstead.
I think helicopter mom is you get stopped before you do something wrong. I think Big Brother is you do something wrong and then you get punished.
I like the second
Is
one.
that how we're doing it? Okay, yeah,
I like the
good.
second
So
one.
they know what you're doing, and you're free to do what you want, but you will get consequences after you've done it
Yeah.
if that thing goes against what you should be doing.
Yeah. So they are, I think, just the typical oppressive fantasy, nation that, yeah, like people, there have been rebellions, there have been little riots. They get quickly put down by um, the military. They are extremely controlling of their own people, and they're led by one ruler, I think, and
Yep.
his oligarchy below him, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and they they I want to say that they have another major city that used to be free. It's now a part of their territory, their province. And that city, we don't have to go into detail on this city. I'm just kind of outlining this city of the sword, nation of the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
that city still has like its own freedoms and still can do what it wants, but it's always being watched by, and it's paying taxes to the empire.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I think in a general sense, they do control a lot of what's going on in the world. So I think this is our opportunity to kind of just make this almost probably the most black and white character, if you will, of our world. Like it's just everyone else agrees they're bad. We don't like them. And
Okay.
they
Yeah.
kind of think, everybody else sucks.
Like they're
We're the
known
best.
as like universally not good.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of looks at them as like, yeah, they're not great guys. They don't do trade with other cities. They're kind of self-dependent, self-reliant as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
And other nations don't want them to trade with them. They kind of said, you guys are terrible to us and to everyone else. So you're not trading with us.
Right.
We're not helping you until you change.
Right. And I think
Okay.
even travelers who come from that nation, if they go to like Umbra, which is pretty open to everybody, pretty nice neutral area. If they go to Umbra, they're watched really closely because everybody thinks that if you're just a traveler from that city, they think you're a spy or you're looking for something.
You're untrustworthy.
You're untrustworthy, and so they always are watching you. They won't like doing business with you. They will because they're nice people, but
but it's like they're always watching out. They got somebody watching you when you come into the city.
And when you do go into the city, you're an uppity punk too, because you do think that you are superior.
Yeah,
so
a lot of them do. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I want to say everyone who is born into the empire gets branded with like a serial number somewhere.
Okay,
like
all right.
On the side of their neck or something. So like it's very easy to tell like that person's from the empire. He has like a serial number and it's like a number on his neck saying like you're number 6047 person to be born into the empire.
Yeah.
And it kind of is like property of the king, like kind of a thing, like cows are branded. It's like it has their sigil on them and the number. So like under this king, your number this. And so it's very easy to track all their people because they're all branded. When they're like 12 or something, they all get cattle prod, and then they get branded.
I just got struck with inspiration.
Good, yes.
So let me throw this at you, and let's see if you vibe with it or not. All right.
Okay.
Mulan. Okay. Hold on. Follow me, everybody, listeners, and just everybody. Mulan.
Okay.
So you were talking about they get branded with this serial number. That immediately, for some reason, brought me to that scene in Mulan, the animated movie, where
Yes.
the army came to take Mulan's dad, even though he was old and, not ready to fight, to take him, and she stood in his place. So I think this is something the Empire does, is they conscript their citizens to fight, to be in the military, because they're always pushing their boundaries, right? And so they are stretched thin, but they don't want people to know that. So they do a classic Mulan where they say, we need every able-bodied person. Whether you're able-bodied, questionable, we're going to take you anyways.
Yeah, old man, I'm not sure.
But we're going to do it anyways. You can be a guard. They just need to show numbers to scare people.
Okay.
So what if we say that in some outskirt village in the Empire where perhaps our adventurers could visit, there's an uprising happening.
Okay.
Led by a strong Mulan character.
Okay.
Just imagine it. Imagine,
what?
if you will, and I don't want, and it is like a strong female character. All right. It's a strong female character who led this uprising because it's the exact same story, because her father was taken, years ago, and he hasn't come back. So he's probably dead. He is dead.
Yeah. Okay. He's dead guy.
He's dead. Her father is dead. And we'll throw in her younger brother too, because why not?
Both dead?
More tragic. Yeah. Well, younger brother, maybe not. Maybe that's a Saving Private Ryan situation that could happen.
Maybe he killed the father because he wouldn't do his job.
Ooh, so younger brother
more turmoil. Yeah, he's all for the Empire. He loves them.
Yeah.
He'll do anything.
Yeah.
He'll do it all.
Okay. That's giving me like the Final Fantasy 14, like, what's his name? Asahi vibes.
Yeah.
Just a real jerk, Yeah. That guy's a real jerk. But
that's a jerk.
Okay, so yeah, I love this because there's like a little uprising. It's become a little bit infamous. So this Mulan character has built up something of a militia, and she's been able so far to protect herself. All she's trying to do, she's not trying to like defeat the Empire because she knows she can't. She's just trying to take a stance and eventually lead her people away, out.
Okay, to make their own way.
Make their own way. Maybe escape to the mountains or go to Umbra or something like that. But she said, I'm sick of it. She took a stand. She united the people, Braveheart style, and they've fought.
Yeah, very Braveheart vibes.
Yeah, they do. Also, shout out Mel Gibson. They do like the Patriot style guerrilla warfares.
Yeah, of course.
Throwing hatchets and just murdering the English and the British.
Scalping everyone they can.
Yeah. It's gotten pretty savage, all right? So that was my inspiration. I want that because there is some, even though it pretty much all hope is lost, and even this situation is a little hopeless, but if the adventuring party or whoever stumbles upon them, they still find this extremely strong-willed person, maybe a little too strong-willed. There might be some choices that she'll want to make where the party's like, that's a little extreme. But, perhaps beheading
you gotta do what you gotta
Empire
do.
Prisoner or something like that,
Yeah.
Showing not some humanity.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I just love
that.
Mulan.
Okay, Mulan's cool. That's great. We can have all of that.
Is that girl I see?
I do think that I like that, and I like the serial number thing I was going with.
Yes.
When you're 12, you get that.
Yes.
Still, you get it before you get inscripted into the army. You get your brand, you get your king stamp on you, and your number. So that way, everybody who's outside of the town knows that you're from the Empire. Whether you are good or bad, doesn't matter. They all know you, and they all judge you based on that. And you can't like hide it. It's just there.
And that's the Empire exercising control because they want you to know. They want everybody to know
harsh control.
You are mine.
Yeah, you will always be labeled part of the empire. It kind of like control plus like, mind control as well. It's like now that you're branded, everywhere you go, people will hate you. People will not like you.
Yeah.
So you might as well just stay here and do
Oof.
what we tell you.
That's
Kind of a thing.
abusive.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's very abusive and it's terrible, but that's how it goes in the empire because they're terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like we need a different name for them other than the empire.
Yeah, we got to work on that.
Because the empire is always used in everything as like the bad guy is the
yeah,
empire.
they are the bad guy.
And so these are bad guys, but we have other bad guys too that are just as bad in the Pale City, but the empire is just bigger and stronger.
I think this is more what I'm imagining is like the Pale City to me is a more intimate, like the Necromancer is the bad guy. The Sons of Fire is, Malachi and their little group is the bad guy. The Empire, I think, is just more of like, it's a force that's there in your day-to-day life. It's not like tomorrow I'm going to get murdered by the Empire. It's just,
right. It's just there.
They're
it's
a bad force.
Ominous presence.
The last couple decades, we've been at odds with them. We know they're bad. It's just like that.
Yeah. So
which is still very important. So I like that.
That's cool. Who do the Empire have gods? Is it Phoenix and Leviathan? Is it one of them? Is it a little bit of both? Or are they kind of agnostic and all they care about is power?
Are they going straight to Final Fantasy 14 Empire? Where we deny all gods and we have cool.
Yeah. Or does the king think he's the god? Does the king say, I am the god?
I'm the incarnation of God.
And you are my children. And that's why you're branded.
So this is a good point because even if the Empire at 1 in every 20 is born with the blood of the Phoenix.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't forget that. 1 in 20 of all people in the world have Phoenix blood.
Yes.
And manifest with the red glowing eyes.
Yes. So that still takes place here. So I think that these people do not deny any of that. I think they are still just as religious as everybody else. They still abide by the dice culture as well.
Yeah. Okay.
But what can we do?
Because they just like control. And they just maybe they have their own prophets saying their own stuff.
Yeah, they have to have their own motivations as well. They can't just be pure, we're evil just because we're evil. They have their leaders have their own motivations for why they do what they do. They think that what they're doing is the right thing. We just need to decide what it is they're doing and why they're doing it. And it doesn't necessarily need to be for religion. We could just say that their religion is they're kind of, like you said, agnostic. Like, yeah, we know that Phoenix and Leviathan are there. We know that Phoenix gave us life.
But that's the end of it.
Yeah, we fight the night just like anybody else, but we're just an agnostic nation,
Yeah, we don't really care about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we get it. We heard it. But what we want is just power and wealth and control. We want to make everybody do what we want.
Yeah, maybe just spitballing here. Maybe they know that there is a another nation in a faraway continent that has a very impressive military. And so what they're trying to do is, unify the continent that they're on to be prepared for that. There's and
the way they're doing it,
there's a greater threat. So we need to prepare
power.
For that. Yeah. We need to fight power with power. So that's what they're looking at is the more pragmatic, like, hey guys, let's all unite under one banner, ours, and prepare to fight.
Except for it's less of a hey guys, it's more of a you're gonna do what we say, and soon enough we're gonna come make you do it.
Yeah.
And they've tried before. There's been wars between Umbra and this town before. And it's never ended in one side winning. It's just ended in like, okay, we're done now, but we're gonna come back. So,
yeah, it's just been kind of a stalemate. We fight sometimes. There's skirmishes on our borders for sure. We keep our borders tight, both sides, but No real advancement has been made, and it's frustrating the Empire.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's what their motivation is. They know of a different
Yeah, they
continent
want a
somewhere else.
conquest to take control so they can have power to defend their land when that time comes. If it comes. They don't even know when it's or if it's going to come. They just know that there's a powerful place somewhere.
Outside force, yeah. I'm trying to think
that could be a threat.
Realistically, like in the real world, has there ever been a world power? Well, yes, the answer is yes, there has been. Like if you think about Alexander the Great, or even the United States, kind of acting as world police. Like, what are the motivations, right? Because obviously we are United States citizens, so trying to be like as unbiased as possible. If you think that, we in the past have acted as the world police because we believe that our system of government and our system of economy is superior than most other places. And so we want to spread democracy to others.
To help under the guise of like, we're going to help you.
Yeah.
Because it works for us.
Yes, it works for us, so it'll work for you.
Bad things are happening. And like throughout recent history, it's been because terrible things have been happening in these places. So like there's come a point where it's going to start affecting us, or it did affect us. And that's why we got into it in the first place. So I think there's been that like, well, if it's not going to affect us, we're not going to do anything. There's been a lot of stuff in our world that is terrible and we've done nothing about.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, there's no chance it's going to hurt us. So it's not worth our people to do.
Right.
Right. It's only if we are under pressure to act.
Right. So there could be any sort of motivation, because we also haven't really spoken much about, but I think we hinted at like the nighttime being like when monsters come out. Did we talk about that at all because of Leviathan?
I think we only talked about kind of the doppelgangers coming out at night.
Okay.
Or being able to manifest a little more at night. Because the shadows stay longer and they're able to like make themselves. Element. Yeah. To form. They have more time in the darkness to do it.
Yeah. So it could be something to that effect too. Maybe not a faraway nation, but once we develop the doppelgangers, maybe they say that, hey, our solution to the doppelgangers works just fine. You all need this too. And that's their guise for advancing upon other people. But so we need to work on that because they need to have a real motivation. That's not just, I'm Dr. Evil. Ugh.
Just to be bad.
I'm just a bad guy.
Yeah. It's just you're a villain to be a villain, like Gru in Despicable Me. Just to be bad. That's the reason.
When I wear a turtleneck, people call me Gru.
You look like Gru? Yeah. I can see it.
I'm good with it though.
Okay. I like this. We didn't name the city. We keep calling them the Empire. I don't like that.
That's just a working name. That will for sure will change.
Yeah. I want but I do like something with steel or iron in it, because those are like cold and hard.
Like in the name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because this is the nation of the sword. So
yeah, it's the nation of the sword. So like steel and iron are like, I like both of those.
Yeah.
And they both would make for a cool bad guy city name.
Absolutely.
So like the steel curtain.
It's not the Iron Curtain.
Yeah, I changed it very slightly.
It's the Mithril Curtain.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, something like that. Like we have the Pale City, so I'm not going to say like the Steel City because that's kind of lame that we have two things with city in the city name.
Yeah, the Pale City is unique in that naming aspect.
Yeah.
So something with sword. Yeah, or not a sword, with iron or steel. That's nothing's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, we have the Sons of Fire, which we still haven't established where they are.
No.
So they're not here. They're not in the Empire.
No.
Or the Steel or Iron City. They're somewhere else that we haven't quite nailed down yet.
Yeah.
They don't fit in any of the other cities.
No, they do
quite
not.
yet.
They right now I'm kind of imagining them living in like the wild, like just the
I'm kind of
wild
seeing them
lands.
as the wild horsemen. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll get to there.
Yeah. We can develop that later. That I think that will come
Yeah.
when we have a more fleshed out actual physical map.
Yeah. Okay. So with this town, we're going to do it like we did Umbra. We're going to sit on it, come back to it next episode and figure out a name.
Most likely. Yeah.
Okay. So it's time again to
It's time.
do the little part that we love so much to do. But this time,
Okay.
we have 2 extra locations and we're going to put me in it as
Excellent.
an NPC.
Excellent.
So I want you to choose, does my NPC belong in the Empire or does he belong in the Pale City?
The Pale City.
Okay. And what kind of NPC would I be? Living in the Pale City. Now, the Pale City is a place of death, plague, and necromancy.
Yes.
And scoundrel, devious folks.
Mm-hmm.
Or people just on really, really hard times.
Yeah.
Live in the Pale City.
So what kind of person would you be? Am I deciding that or are you?
I think we both can have a go at an NPC that I would be in the Pale City.
Okay, let's see. Here's a question for you. What would you consider if you had 3 attributes, your top 3 attributes? What would you say they are?
Okay, my top 3 attributes are honest, number 1, like to a fault. Brutally. Number 2 is like technical. What's that called? What's a good, or is it just technical? It's a good word.
Just say technical.
Technical. And I don't know. What's the third one? That describe my personality or me? Yeah, describe me.
Just you. Honest, technical.
Just an all-around great person.
Just a 10 out of 10.
Just a 10 out of 10 kind of guy. What could I say the third one is?
What do you think? Yeah, that's.
I would say, like caring, helpful, humble.
I don't agree with
10 out of 10.
I don't agree with any of those 3.
Giving.
No, that's not true either.
I adopted 3 children. Okay. I'm a very patient, giving, loving person.
That's true. You did adopt kids, so
on purpose. So there's that.
Whoops, I signed the papers.
It wasn't an accident. Not like I had a kid just on an accident, right? It's not like I'm a parent because I messed up. It's like I chose this willingly.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Okay. So you said honest and technical. I think that's good enough. I don't think I need a third word. Okay. Because I've got it. You are a surgeon.
A surgeon in the Pale City?
In the Pale City. And you know what that means.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means
weird stuff?
That means you're making things.
Oh,
Golems,
I'm like
Frankenstein monsters. Yeah, you're like Frankenstein.
I'm Dr. Frankenstein.
That's what I'm thinking right now. And
so I'm conscripted by the Necromancy League. I don't do necromancy, but I'm conscripted by them to like, hey, I need a new vessel. A bigger one, a stronger one. I need you to put together just a beast of a person.
Yep.
This is pretty gross.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Because in order to actually create these, to give life or, unlife to these things, they have to be physically created first. So somebody's got to do it.
Okay.
So I would say that you are, we'll say the head surgeon, because there's got to be a lot of surgeons making this.
Yeah, there's a
you
lot
are
of
the head
surgeons.
surgeon who kind of leads the effort of whatever the Pallid King is needing at the time, his special requests, his special projects. You're the one that's working on it. He gives you an assignment and you start delegating, you make the plan.
Yeah.
You start making.
How did I come to be in the Pale City? I think that's important.
Ooh, that's a good question, because this is a...
Was I doing this outside of the Pale City and people were like, get out of here? Or was it like,
yeah,
did I lose my dice roll privileges? What happened?
I think that you had a question of morality somewhere. You were a surgeon. You were an accomplished surgeon. You were living the dream, you know? You were doing well in another city. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say Umbra. Maybe Umbra, but maybe not. But you were just living the dream, and you came to a crossroads of, maybe it was the thing where kind of like I want to say like Doctors Without Borders, but like that's a good cause.
Wait a minute, what?
But you were a doctor you didn't limit yourself, right? Because
without borders.
You were a doctor without borders. No, they're good. We like them. You were a doctor. You were a surgeon that did things that you thought were right. And most of the time they were, because you're like a genius surgeon. So most of the time you were right. You were honest in that regard, where you're like, hey, y'all are idiots. I'm going to do it my way, despite what you tell me to.
But it's like my NPC is like, I will do whatever. Like whether that's like digging up a grave and cutting an arm off because this person needs an arm or they'll die kind of a thing, and put it on them. Like I will do that because it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then people were like, whoa. No, we don't do that. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Like maybe in this world, like, you know, heart transplants are seen as like very bad.
Yeah.
But the surgeon's like, no, it's the only thing that'll work. And it's not bad. It's fine. They're dead. They don't need their heart. We're just going to do it.
Right.
And then he got kind of shamed and exiled because of that.
Yeah.
Because he stood by his belief. Like, no, I don't care what you're saying. This is right.
Yeah.
I know this is right. And it's going to save this person. But because of his want to save and like help, he got kicked out.
Yeah. He got led down a dark path, right? It's a slippery slope of making those decisions. And then finally he was outcasted some way or another, ended up in the Pale City.
And they know of him because he was like the leading surgeon, right? And they know this guy. They're like, hey, we love what you were doing. We love that you would do anything to do the right thing. And then that's where the manipulation started, right? It's like, we love that you spared no expense. You did all you could.
Yeah.
And that's what we need you to do for us.
Yeah.
A lot of people here need your help.
Yeah. I think too, there was probably something that happened where it was like he made the decision to save his wife or something like that. But then people pitchforked
like a pet cemetery situation.
Yeah. But then people came with the pitchforks, and that's when he really turned and was like, you know what? Screw all you guys. And then he just decided like, I'm going to do evil. Like I'm going to go live in the palace.
Yeah, I'm going to work
City
for the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because you've done this to me. And like the wife died.
Right? Yeah. Wife died. Family died.
And it was their fault. He could have saved her, but it was their fault.
Yeah.
So now he's on this, rage to get back at them.
Yeah. But he's brutally honest. Like he's one of the few people that does not mind speaking his mind to the Pallid King.
Yes.
He's not like afraid. He's not afraid of anything.
And the Pallid King like respects that. He's like, wow, yes, finally someone, it's a fresh breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Somebody to be honest with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this surgeon is like infamously fearless. He's not scared of anybody, any authority, nothing.
Yeah. He
still basically does what he wants. Yeah. He's got nothing to lose. So he's like sounds like he's a very typical like supervillain, almost like a mad scientist.
Yeah. But he doesn't have necromancy power. That's the thing he doesn't have.
No.
He can just put things together the way they need it to.
Yeah. I think he
and
still
he
has
can
some
save lives in a weird way.
I think he still has some twisted sense of good morality, what he thinks is good. Like, I still save lives. That's
Right.
still my main purpose as a surgeon. You know, I
But
save
I'm
lives.
also going to help you to get back at these people
Yeah.
who wronged me, who took everything.
Yeah. So I think he's got that twisted morality. So he's
Nice.
not just totally like that. But I think I think we just made ourselves a pretty awesome, like, sub boss.
Yeah, like a main henchman kind of a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Or possibly if there's a way to connect with his inner tragic past, there might be a way to be like
save him,
to kind of save his soul in a sense,
to get him out of there, or to get him to help you in some way.
Yeah,
to get to the Pallid King.
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's a pretty sweet setup.
Okay, cool. So now we have to make a decision because that took like 10 minutes. Do we go with the third word and give it like 4 minutes, or do we just kind of call it here and then use it next time?
This would be the first time that we never used all 3 words.
I know, we were jiving and just going. So I think we've done a lot.
Yeah, I think, I'm okay with stopping there. I don't want to just give only 4
because it wouldn't get the
minutes.
full attention, right?
Yeah,
because it's usually like 15 minutes per word. And it would get 3 minutes at this point.
Yeah, so I'm good with stopping with what we have, because again, we've created a lot of different paths.
Yeah. There's a lot to go on. There's a lot to retcon here too. So we have a lot to go through and continue to build on.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cleanup as we near the end of this world building, which is fine. But
which is fine. So with that, I do want to point out that we have launched a refreshed, revamped, renewed website that you can look at heroesandthieves.co. Go there, check it out. We're going to be writing articles and doing short YouTube videos for clarifying and expanding on these concepts we've talked about. You don't need that content to follow the whole world building, but it is like supplementary and it will help as we go along. So check it out. Go to the website. We'll post articles there and we'll have that updated weekly, so you'll be able to see more stuff that we're doing and get more of an insight on the world we're in.
There's already one article written by yours truly. Go check it out.
Yes, it's a great article. Check it out. I got nothing else. Do you have anything to say?
I think that about did it. Keep writing us. Keep supporting. We love what we do, and we love seeing you people react to what we do. Yeah. So keep up the good work.
All right, then. Keep up the good work, everyone.
Keep up the good work of listening.
The hard job you have of listening. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.